Welcome back to another video of the 380SL. Sophia here, still having an issue with the warm starts. Cold starts, perfect. Warm starts, it cranks for like 30-40 seconds. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries in order for it to start. Back 6 or 8 months ago, we already made a video on the accumulator that seemed to have fixed the problem back then, but now it's got to be a different issue. So we did the delivery system. You can go back and watch that video. About a few weeks ago, posted another video on the injectors. I thought maybe it was leaking injectors from what I was reading. Changed that out. That's not an issue. That seemed to fix the car in general, but it didn't seem to fix the warm start issue. So now we're looking at the cold start valve. Maybe it's a leaking cold start valve is from what I'm reading. This is the cold start valve right here. This guy here. This is the fuel that comes in from the fuel distributor. This is the power that it supplies, and pretty much on a cold start, triggers this valve in order to inject a little bit more fuel into the system. So it's kind of like an extra injector. And so what I want to do is pull this out, and I'm going to put a cup underneath and start the car and see if I see any dribbling and see if I'm getting too much fuel going down into the system from the fuel side here. So let's hook that up. I'm going to take these two bolts off and see if that does anything. Glass is empty. Glass is empty. So as you can tell from that little test, is that nothing is coming out of the cold start valve, which is, I guess, makes sense because I was reading that the cold start valve is activated at pretty cold temperatures, like 15 or 25 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm in Los Angeles, it's like 70 degrees out. So for my car here in Southern California, I don't expect this to ever ever actuate in order to get more fuel in there. So that's why we didn't see any fuel. So I don't think I'll ever see any fuel come out of there. I didn't see any dribbling, so that's good. It's not leaking. So I don't think that's the issue. It seems like the cold start valve is fine as it is. One thing to point out is if you take this off, there is a little film that's right here. I bought that for $1, so wanted to replace it. So that way, if you're gonna remove it to test it or remove it to replace it, make sure you get that. It was just $1, but so that way it's a good seal. So now that that's been ruled out, I don't really know what else to do. Again, I'm not a mechanic. So I think it's time to take it to a mechanic so help me diagnose it. I think what I want them to do is check the fuel pressure and see if it's the accumulator or see if it's something else. I was also reading about a fuel pressure, I don't know, regulator, I guess, or something that holds pressure. I'm gonna see if they can hook up their fuel gauges, pressure gauges, to the fuel distributor to see if I'm losing fuel. It seems like I'm losing fuel. It sounds exactly like when I lost the fuel accumulator. When that stopped working, it just kind of cranks, and by the time I get fuel up here, it takes like 30 seconds or so. Sounds kind of similar to that, and I think it's time for them to check it out. I'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching. Back at the 380SL, as you know, probably know, we're chasing down warm start issues. Fuel delivery system in the back has changed with the accumulator. Fuel injectors have been changed out. Cold start valve is not leaking. What I'm reading is it could be this fuel pressure regulator, this guy here, and it's got a diaphragm in it. And on the other side, it's supposed to have, I don't know if you can see it, it's got a hose that's attached to it, like an air hose. And apparently this diaphragm is not supposed to, if it's ruptured, then fuel will come out of that diaphragm. Let me see if I can turn on the flash or something. Light right there. So if fuel is coming out of there, that means the diaphragm has been has got a hole in it, and it's not supposed to have fuel coming out of it. So maybe that's the issue. It's this fuel pressure regulator. That's what I'm reading. So I'm gonna start the car up and let's see if we get any fuel coming out of that thing. So I just noticed there's another one of these guys right on this side here too. Maybe supplying the other side, I guess. So there's two, they look exactly the same. Here it is. I unplugged this one as well, so you can see the tip of it. I didn't get any gas coming out of the other one. So let me turn on the engine and see if I can get anything out of this one. See if this is a problem. See, maybe this diaphragm is leaking. Seems like I'm getting nothing from both sides, so I guess it's not that. This one's pretty clean. I guess one way to check for pressure is you push down on this plate. Right now it's got pressure, it's pretty solid. But once it loses pressure, then you can push it down pretty easily. It's still got pressure, so maybe like 10-15 minutes later that will lose pressure. Nothing coming out of that one. Both dry. Okay, I found the easiest way to check fuel pressure on a car. Apparently all you do is push on this plate. When you push down, see how easy it is to push down on this thing? That means I've lost pressure. When it's got pressure, when you tap on it, it definitely doesn't go down, but it holds steady. So right now, there's no pressure. The fuel pressure has gone down. So that's an easy way of checking your fuel pressure problem. Although I can't figure out my fuel pressure issue, why I'm losing it, so I'm probably gonna end up taking it to a mechanic to help me diagnose the issue.